Hello my lovelies, it's Sky here and welcome back to the channel, or welcome to the channel if you're new. Today we're going to be continuing on our April color along. If you haven't watched the first part yet, go ahead and watch that if you'd like. We've been working in Hannah Lynn's Fierce and Fancy Fantasy Faces, and the page that we are coloring is Happy Hatchling. So this is what we have so far. In part one we colored the hair and her shirt, and I think in part two we're going to tackle her skin, and then we'll see how much time that takes and kind of go from there. But that's kind of the idea. I think for her skin, we're gonna go our generic skin colors that we usually use. I think I did decide I'm gonna add a little bit of like an eyeshadow to her. Not anything too over the top. I think just a little bit more subtle. For her lips, I think I kind of want to do them the same as her hair. I'm kind of torn between doing just like pink lips or matching them with her hair. I think for her eyes, they're going to be either like a gray or a gold, depending on what we do for the clouds. But I was thinking like a grayish white to kind of match with the dragon would be kind of cute, but we'll kind of see. I would like to add some pink in here a little bit because I do think that we need a little bit more, I don't want to say more colors, more variation. Kind of like a contrasting color. I don't know. I don't know what I'm trying to say, but I do think that we need more than just the greens and blues. And gray doesn't really count. So, plus I thought it would be super cute to have a little bit of pink on the dragon. So I feel like we do need to have a little bit of pink somewhere else. So, I mean, it would make sense for me to do the clouds pink, the dragon gray with little bits of pink, her lips pink, and then probably like her ponytail holders pink. That's kind of the idea though, but we'll have to see. I did have a clip with this and I've somehow lost it. I don't know how. I'll have to look for that. Okay, I found it. So I'm going to zoom in just a little bit more and then we'll go ahead and get started. Okay, I think we're good here. You can see pretty much the whole page. I'm going to go ahead and grab my light peach and let's go ahead and start basing the skin. So I'm just going to do a light layer with the light peach. So I'm just doing really large circles and kind of a mix. They're not all large, but just to get more coverage quicker. I'm doing some bigger circles, very light pressure. The camera is probably not even picking this up because my eyes are barely picking it up. I can see a little bit of difference, but it's nothing too drastic. She might be cute to give freckles, actually. We should do that maybe. I do have that piece of paper in behind my page. I love how the dragon's holding on to her thumb. That is so cute. Okay, so once we have our base down, we're going to start adding in our shadows, which of course is going to be with the Perma Violet. So again, just kind of lightly coming in with this color at first. We can always build up, but it's good to start gradual. taking everything in me not to unbind the pocketbooks. I find them very annoying to color in, actually. They are my favorite to color in, but they are also very annoying. I don't like having to hold open the page like this. It does strain my wrist a little bit. My wrists always bother me. But the butterfly clip I had was like perfect, but I don't know where the heck I had it. I went through and cleaned the art room. I started last year, actually. I want to say like around the end of summer, maybe. I kind of started cleaning the art room and I still haven't finished it. My goodness, it's pretty much just back to where it was. It doesn't even look like I cleaned anything, which is so unfortunate and like super discouraging and overwhelming, and I just don't want to touch it. But it's also a gigantic mess in here, so I've been avoiding it, and I need my space back, but I need a decent amount of time to tackle it. But I've just been feeling so unmotivated, and finding the time, especially to get it done, has just been ridiculous. Which feels like such a cop-out to say, because that's literally, let's say I started in September. We'll just ballpark it there. So September, October, November, December, January, February, March. That's like 6 months. In 6 months, I've not had time to clean it. I'm gonna add a little bit of a nose here. So I'm just kind of creating a general nose shape, and I'm gonna bring it up kind of towards her eyebrows. More like these parts. I'm gonna like kind of curl it off towards these parts. That's too high, isn't it? I usually go... I'm confused. I think I usually go towards here, not these parts, but that also seems wrong. Let me just check something here. I'm just gonna find a random page that I colored and look at it. Okay, so it looks like I usually kind of go towards this line, which is probably why I didn't, or didn't at first, because it's very minimal here. So I'm gonna give her like a really long, kind of slender, skinny nose. We're gonna accentuate the Cupid's bow a little bit here. I'm gonna add a little bit of shading around and under her nose. It's gonna look a little funny for now, but trust the process. I'm gonna put a bit of shadow underneath her brow line here, as well as on this part, which is like the folds, kind of where your eyes kind of fold in. So we want that to stand out a little bit. Definitely want under her neck to be a bit in shadow. I'm going to be very generous here with this one, because we definitely, we definitely want under her neck dark. We already know that for sure. I'm going to go mostly in on the sides though, and make the sides darker, not so much right under her chin. And then of course we can use the guides that Hannah has in here for the grayscale. Those will be dark. So yeah, if we want an area quite dark, the trick is not to just go in super hard with your pencil. That is actually the last thing you want to do, because you don't want to burnish the tooth, because then you're not going to be able to blend and everything's going to look very what's the word I'm looking for? Not blended. The opposite of not blended. I don't know what the word is. That little bit of extra work building up that layers is absolutely worth it. And realistically, I feel like if you're going to spend a decent amount of time on a page, you might as well put in that extra little bit to where you absolutely love it, not to where you feel like you could have done better, right? At least that's the goal. Definitely don't try to match anybody else's level. Always try to learn and get better at it. I'm not saying don't do that, but try not to compare yourself to others. Not in a bad way anyways. There's always room for improvement. I feel like because I haven't really been coloring a whole lot, not as much as I used to anyways, I do feel like my skill level has decreased a little bit. Like even doing her hair for like a gradient I used to do gradients all the time for hair, or ombre hair, I guess is what you would call it. I used to do that a lot and I actually struggled to remember how to. So I feel like her hair could have been a little bit better, but it is growing on me. I actually really like it. Okay, now that we have that, let's go ahead and darken up a little bit on her face. So again, just adding a little bit more pigment in areas. We don't want to add any extra pressure. Okay. I think that looks pretty good. Do we want to... Yeah, let's go with the nectar. I always have a hard time figuring out whether I should do like the makeup colors first or build up more of a base for the skin. I'm really not too sure if there's like a right or wrong there. Actually, I'm going to switch back to the Parma Violet. I like to do a little bit of shadow underneath their lips as well, just to kind of give them a little bit of that more pouty kind of look. It makes their lips look a little bit more full. Mostly just along the bottom, just a little bit there. Okay, for the nose, I'm going to go a little bit on both sides. So for the most part, I'm going over top of the shadows, like consider the Parma Violet as your shadow. That's like your darkest shadow color. We're going to go a little bit over that, and then we're just going to bring it out a little bit and fade it out. For the nose, we're going to go in over top of the Parma Violet, and then we're just going to fade it out on both sides. Something's making a clicking sound when I color and it's driving me crazy. Oh, totally forgot in here. We're gonna bring the Parma Violet back again. This tends to happen. So I think for the most part here is gonna be pretty much shadowed. So I'm just gonna do a layer with the Parma Violet. And I'm just gonna add a little bit extra color kind of underneath the dragon. Just like that. I'm not gonna have a whole lot there. I remember when I first started, the skin used to scare me the most, and now it's actually one of my favorite things to color. It's just so relaxing, and I feel like in a picture with a person, it really brings it to life. Like if the skin is the first thing you color, which it usually is, that's what I usually color first, that already brings the picture to life so much. I'm just gonna lightly go over this entire area here. I feel like this arm's gonna be a little bit darker than the other one. Okay, so next we're gonna go in with our peach. I'm not gonna pop this into the shadows too much because we do still wanna put in a little bit of blush and makeup, so I don't wanna get too close to burnishing these. I do, however, want to have a little bit more of a base to add it to. So I'm gonna put the peach slightly over where we have the nectar coming out. And I'm just gonna bring it forward a little bit to where we'll most likely have it. I'm mostly just gonna do this along her eyes and her cheeks because that's where we're gonna have those other colors. So now we can go ahead and bring that in. Let's do makeup first. So I'm gonna grab the Imperial Violet and I'm gonna focus this mostly near the edges of her eyes. So I'm being pretty liberal with this. I'm popping in a decent amount of color or pigment, keeping kind of the same pressure that I did with the skin colors. Okay, so I want to kind of keep that towards the edges there. Okay, let's add a little bit of the Blue Lake. So we're just going to bring this out from there. Kind of blend those two colors together a little bit. Maybe to about here. I'm also just lightly fading it up towards her eyebrow. and lastly, we're going to take a little bit of the gray lavender and bring that out just a little bit more, just to kind of like the edges of her eyes here. Fade that out. There, subtle, but you can see it. Whether or not the skin colors take over it, I'm not sure. I'm gonna come back in with the Parma Violet. No, I'm not. I lied. Soon we'll come back in with that. We should do the blush too. Okay, so Process Red. So kind of just starting in the corner by her eye here. And I like to use two blush colors, like a darker color and a lighter color. So I like to bring the darker color to about here. So to about the further iris. I don't know how to explain it. On this side, it would be the left part of her iris. On this side, it would be the right side of her iris. And then we're gonna fade it out around there. Hold on, sorry, a cat wanting out. So the reason I use that as a guide, like for example, in this one, it's a perfect example because her face is turned just slightly. We see more of this side of her face than we do this side. So using this as a guide will help make the blush even on her face, not on the paper. Like for example, we wouldn't want these sides to be even. We would want this side to be more noticeable and this side to be less noticeable because this side is turned. So as long as we're using the eyes as our guide, the blush should match up. So fading it right here. Okay, and then we're gonna go in with our hot pink. I'm just gonna lightly go over the Process Red, and I'm gonna bring this out a little bit to about the center, and then I'm gonna fade that out. So right about here. And right about here on this side. All right, now we're gonna go back in with our Parma Violet. I'm just gonna darken up a couple of these areas up near her head a little bit here. Add a bit more pigmentation under her chin. I think everything else looks okay. I'm always a little bit light going on the face at first because it's easy to add, not so easy to take away. So I feel like the face is much better to build up. The body doesn't intimidate me nearly as much. Okay, so back in with the nectar. So now I'm gonna add a little bit more of this and mix that in with our shadows, with the Parma Violet specifically, because they kind of work together. The Parma Violet itself is not a skin color, but when you use it with the nectar, it kind of neutralizes it and turns it into a skin looking color, which is really interesting how they work like that. focus a little bit on these creases, make them a bit more noticeable, I guess. Make them so they stand out a little bit more. She has a little bit of like an oriental look to her, doesn't she? Maybe like Japanese. I don't know, she's kind of giving me Mulan vibes, even though we have not colored her anything like Mulan. I didn't really see it till now though with her skin being colored though, so I'm not sure. I'm not sure the ethnicity that I'm trying to think of. I'm not very good with I guess judging where people, what culture people are, what ethnicity they are just by looking at them. I get very confused with the like Asian cultures. To me, it's like when you look at a white person, and it's really hard to tell if they're Scottish or Irish. I mean, with Scottish people, it's a little bit easier to tell. So you usually have red hair, or do Irish people have red hair too? Stereotypically, anyways. I can usually kind of guess what area of the world people are from, like large general area, because I'm terrible at geography as well. But that's about as far as I can go. My hubby's really good at it though. He can tell the difference between a lot of people, especially in like the Asian cultures, but a lot of his friends that he grew up with were in those cultures. So I feel like it's a little bit easier for him. I kind of grew up in smaller kind of hillbilly hick towns where it was mostly white people. So most of them were assholes. Not gonna lie. Maybe I just had bad taste in people. But I did my, I got a DNA test from Ancestry because I wanted to see what I am, because I don't know who my dad is. So I can kind of take my mom's word and my grandpa's word for what the mix of cultures are for me. But I don't know anything about my dad's side. So it was pretty interesting. There's Scottish, Irish. What else was there? There was areas from Wales. A lot of like northeastern. My grandpa always told me that I was part native, and according to my ancestry, I don't have any native in me. But I want to do the 23andMe because a lot of people said that there is differences between them, and 23andMe might pick up what ancestry didn't. So I think that would be interesting. Yeah, it was pretty neat to learn. I can't remember all of them. It was a while ago that I did this, but it was pretty cool actually. You know, and now the government owns my DNA, so there's that. It's probably bad, but oh well. They already own everything, so. Okay, so we're gonna go in with the peach now. So I'm gonna pop this in over top of our shadows. It's definitely starting to burnish a little bit now. Definitely tell the difference. I don't want to fully burnish it yet. Not intentionally anyways. If it accidentally gets burnished, then oh well. But kind of going on both sides of her nose here again. Ah, she looks so pretty. She actually would have been a cute one done as Jasmine too, actually, now that I'm thinking about it. I don't know what culture Jasmine is. She's like from like India, right? I think. Maybe not. See, again, I'm super bad with stuff like that. That's gonna bother me. I looked it up. What culture is Jasmine? Middle Eastern, I guess. That's all it says. But this story was actually set in China. That's interesting. I did not know that, and I would not have guessed that. Huh. Jasmine was always one of my favorite princesses. Well, Pocahontas, I think, was my absolute favorite. Aurora's in there. I love Aurora. Jasmine, definitely. The music in the movies, too, so good. I kind of liked that Aladdin wasn't really a prince. Like, I guess he was made to be one by wishes, but he wasn't originally a prince. So I feel like that story stuck with me a little bit more. So lightly go over this area here. Now I want to watch those movies. It's been so long since I watched the older Disney movies. I've seen a few of the remakes. I haven't watched all of them. I really liked the Mulan remake, actually. That one was pretty good. I don't generally watch a lot of the remakes because it bothers me when they change things. Like, I feel like in Mulan, they changed a couple things. I think between like her and Shang, they don't end up together, which the little girl in me was very disappointed at. And then there's a few of the situations that happen in the movie that don't happen in the remake or happen differently. And that always bothers me too. It's kind of the same as like reading a book and then watching the movie. There's so many differences and it's just like, what the heck? That's not how this is supposed to happen. But it's even worse when it's a movie you grew up watching and it's like imprinted in your brain that things happen a certain way and then they don't have them happen in the movie like that. Just lightly trying to add a little bit of skin color underneath the makeup here. I think that looks pretty good. I just don't like the forehead. It feels too patchy. Just trying to smooth it out a little bit. It'll probably smooth out when we add the light peach, but I'd like it to look a little bit smoother before that. That way I'm confident that it smooths out. But I don't want to overdo it either. Okay, so let's go in with the light peach. This one, I'm gonna sharpen mine. Oh, and it broke. Oh my gosh. Rookie mistake. Just dumped a bunch of pencil shadings all over my page. You guys probably seen that. Oh, this pencil is not good. This is a brand new pencil, of course. Let's try a different sharpener. Sometimes that makes a difference. It's better. There we go. Should make sure I haven't moved the book around too much. Okay, I think we're good. Okay, so I'm going to start with a medium light pressure in the shadows. And then I'm going to gradually increase that pressure. Kind of just coming past where we have colored, and then I'm going to lighten it up, and we're going to just lightly go over the white parts of the page because we want to build up that color there too. I find just gradually increasing the pressure sometimes lets it blend a little bit better. Like, you don't want to go down and just like smush that color on the page. You want it to blend it into each other while burnishing it. See, this one kind of blended funny. It looks kind of like patterned in here. I don't like that. I don't think I can fix it either. I think I went in a little bit too heavy at first there. I shouldn't have done that. Okay, lighter pressure around here. Oops. Let me just put my phone on silent. Just light little circles building up that color. Should we give her freckles? What do you guys think? I think she'd look adorable with freckles. Feel like I got something on her face here, though. It feels a little bit funny here. Try and blend that out, whatever it is. We're going to do the same thing for the rest of her skin as well. Okay, I'm going to give this a sharpen again. Sharper pencil means actually less work because it burnishes and blends way easier. I feel like I might be out of frame again. Not again, I haven't been so far, but I'm just like worried that I'll move it and not realize. I'm gonna do this part now so I don't forget. Okay, I think that's pretty good. One thing that I'm gonna do, and you definitely don't have to, I'm gonna take the Parma Violet and I'm just gonna add just a little bit of a line here. And then I'm gonna take the Nectar and I'm just gonna blend that out with that. to darken up that one spot. And then I'm going to go back in with the light peach and just gently blend that out. There we go. That one circle right there looked a little bit funny. Okay, so for her lips, I'm going to go in with the cobalt turquoise. And we're going to kind of line the bottom of her lip here. And then blend that up a little bit. I'm going to go in a little bit more on the sides than I normally would too. So I'm just going to bring that in, fade it out. So it's looking like that so far. I want to add a little bit of the dioxazine purple hue. And that is mostly going to go on the sides. So kind of like that. Let's go in with the parrot green. So I'm going to go into those shadow colors and I'm going to blend them out. We're in this case, we're blending in towards the middle of the lip. And then let's come in with the light green. And working from one side to the other, I'm just going to blend and burnish that. Okay, going back in with the dioxazine purple hue, I want a super sharp point on this, so I'm gonna sharpen mine a bit more. Literally as much as I can, the sharpest point I can get. And then I'm going to be careful not to push too hard because I don't want to break the tip of this. I'm just going to use this over top of the lines of her lips. There, you can see the difference that made. It looks a little bit funny, which it kind of does. I'm going to add a little bit more of a shadow to the very bottom. Kind of fade that out lightly. As well as kind of the bottom of the top lip. Yeah, that looks a lot better. Just fade it up slightly. There we go. Yep. Actually, also while I have the dioxazine purple hue, I'm just going to add, I'm going to attempt, this is probably a bad idea, but I'm going to add a little bit of the purple just on her makeup here. I know it doesn't look the best now, just give me one moment. I'm going to grab a Kleenex. And just with my finger, I'm going to use this to kind of blend this in here. I'm just going to drag towards her nose. Same thing on this side. A little bit of a cheat there. There's a little bit more color there. Okay, that looks good. Let's definitely add freckles. So I'm gonna grab 2 colors of browns if I have them. Let's see. I don't know if these colors are different. So I've just got some fine liners here. And I'm just gonna start kind of adding some along the bridge of her nose and bringing them in over her cheek. Bring them up her nose a little bit here. Kind of do some bigger ones. Okay, so let's see if this brown is any darker or not. I think it's a little bit darker. Might not be. Just gonna add a couple just in case. Okay, might be a mistake, but I'm gonna go in with the black. I don't really want to add many more. I'm just gonna pick out some that are already there and darken them. Very carefully. There we go. I'm just gonna add just a couple more further away ones. Okay, with that Kleenex, I'm gonna place that on there and then I'm just gonna gently rub. So that'll kind of mute down the color. And then with my light peach, I'm gonna very carefully go over these. It might pull some off, which is fine. But it should just mute them a little bit. There we go. All right, so how long did that take us? Not even an hour. That's awesome. Do we want to do her eyes now? No, I was gonna say we could do her eyes now, so that way we could do her eyelashes, but her eyelashes are gonna be one of the last things because they come into the background, so we want the background to be colored first. I was trying to decide whether I wanted to keep her eyelashes the same. Like, it's easier to see on this one. They just have like these 2 little flicks and that's it. And I think I do want to keep them the same. I don't think I want to add any more to it. I actually really like that look. It's very like, I don't know what the word I'm looking for is. It's on the tip of my tongue. I'm like forgetting all the words. Anyways, it's whatever that word is. Yeah, I think this is a good place to stop. I think she looks pretty awesome so far. Actually, one thing that we could do, since we have our dioxazine purple hue so nice and sharp, I'm going to start on this side here, but let's go in. I'm going to go over top of the line work that Hannah has in here. I'm not really adding anything too extra here. Going over top of the lines that I want to redefine, because they were kind of lost. This might be something that I actually want to do later on, once everything's colored, but Oh well, we can do it later too if we need to, but let's do it now just to make it look better. Yeah, look at that already. Oh my goodness, that makes so much of a difference compared to the other side. Holy moly. Yeah, I'm glad that we're doing this actually. I'm pretty happy with the lines up here. I don't feel like they were distorted as much, probably because we used darker colors. The light colors really annihilated the line work. So I'm only going to put it where I think we actually need it. Definitely would like to bring these little curly, I think they're like braided, but I'm not too sure. But these bits, definitely want to bring them back. Oh my gosh, look at that. I think that's what we were missing. I am like automatically just so much more obsessed with her hair now. So remember the whole last part, I was like, I don't know about this, blah, 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 blah. Just complain, complain, whine, whine. It's just not feeling it. This just brought it to a whole nother level. Oh my goodness. Okay. I love that. I really like that. I think maybe that's why I'm not the biggest fan of grayscale, because it kind of gets rid of the line work. And I think I am actually a fan of the line art. Pretty sure I am. I want to try on her face too. See if I can. Just going over the lines for her skin here. Okay, and then I want to, for her dress as well, should we do the dioxazine or should we do a different color? Let's do the dioxazine. I really like that color. I think it will look nice. And if not, then oh well. Yep. 1000 yeps. Absolutely. Look at how pretty that looks. All right, I feel like this is a good place to leave this. I am officially super excited. I do wish I did her eye makeup a little bit bolder, actually. I wonder if we went in and like made it look sparkly, if that would add or take away. Just because of her freckles, I feel like we already have spots on her face, so I think if we maybe had like spots up here too, it might be too much. I think we'll leave it. When we have her eyebrows, well, actually we could do her eyebrows now. Let's do those with the dioxazine purple hue as well. Once we have her eyelashes done, I think it will look better. There we go. Yeah, okay, I am obsessed with this so far. I am still not 100% sure on the pink, actually. I'm thinking gold. I don't know, gold keeps coming to mind, but I'm just not sure. I might have to make like a couple swatches to kind of place on here to get a better idea of what they will look like. But either way, I think this is a great way to leave this off. I hope you guys are enjoying this color along so far. If you are liking it, if you could give it a thumbs up, that would be extremely helpful to both me and the channel and your fellow colorists, because it will recommend this video to more people so they might get to enjoy it as well. But yeah, I can't wait to, oh my gosh, you guys know what I just realized? Her arm. Oh my gosh, this whole time, how did I not notice that? Well, never mind. We gotta finish that. Oh my goodness, I cannot believe myself right now. I am just astonished. I was even talking earlier about how cute it was that he's holding her thumb, and then I just decided not to color it. So, all right. Parma Violet. And just when I thought we were done, we are not. Okay, so we're gonna have a little bit darker here. I'm putting myself in timeout for reals. All right, so if you noticed that before I noticed that, tell me in the comments at what point during this video did you notice? And why did you not tell me? No, just kidding. I mean, I am notorious for getting to color things, but a whole arm? A whole arm. Like, that seems a bit much. I need sleep or coffee or both. Probably both. Both works. Oy vey. All right, let's neutralize with the nectar. I'm gonna bring the nectar in on its own kind of along here too, I think. Oh, the sun's out. Hopefully it melts away all this yucky snow. I'm over it. We just had like 4 days of straight snow here. Not so fun when the groundhog said that winter was supposed to be over a week ago. Okay, just making sure these are super soft blends. Okay, now we should be able to come in with the peach. Is that the color I was using? Was I just using the peach? I honestly don't know. I don't think I was. Maybe I was. I don't know. We're gonna go with it. It looks okay. No, I think they're different colors. The peach is a little bit more warm. The nectar's more cool. Just gonna lightly go over this whole area here. All right, and then light peach, same as before. We're just gonna lightly come in and gradually deepen our pressure. There. I'm gonna come back in with the nectar and just outline her skin just like we did on top. Oops, this guy is not very sharp. Hold on, I'm gonna sharpen this and then do that. Went over onto the dragon a little bit, but that's okay. I'm sure he doesn't mind, or she. Your dragon can be whatever gender it wants. Whoop, just throwing things. All right, are we missing any more skin? It makes sense on why the skin took under an hour. If you guys remember, I was a little bit surprised because no matter how big or large, the skin usually always takes about an hour. So now that we're done, I don't know how much of my outro spiel I'm going to keep in there before my moment of realization, but I'll give you the whole spiel again just in case. I hope you guys are enjoying this color along. I promise I kind of know what I'm doing. If you guys are enjoying, if you could give it a thumbs up, that would help both me out and the channel, as well as your fellow colorists, because it will help the video get recommended to other people who might enjoy it. So I would greatly appreciate that. And yeah, I think we're going to leave it here. I'm excited to see the final outcome of this. I am actually really excited for this now. I love how she is turning out. I hope you guys do as well. And with that being said, I will hopefully see you guys in part 2. All right, guys, as always, take care and hopefully see you next time. Bye!